So was there ever a point that you were it don't sound like it, but looking for love?
Uh, so man, I always considered myself even though I was the worst dude ever. I was always considered myself a lover. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a player growing up. The way that we grew up in the 90s, we try to be players and romanticize more than one woman, but make each woman feel like she was the one for you. Just really just being male whores for real. So as far as love, man, I just love the game. And you would mess around and end up sexing yourself into a trans-like state where you felt like you love this woman, but really you cheating on her. You got all these other chicks that you trying to do it to when you ain't around her. So you ain't really love her. You know what I'm saying? But you would think you did because she be your most favorite. You know what I mean? So, I ain't really start thinking about love until I got back in the church after my grandpa passed, man. Something about that just kind of made me feel like, maybe I need somebody and will need somebody because I ain't got the people who I thought I could depend on. My grandpa being one of the strongest people, but yeah, I ain't really, growing up, I wasn't tripping. I love the game. For real, for real.
What you talked about what you learned from the streets. Like, what did you learn from your grandpa?
Hard work, determination, selflessness, because I know he didn't really want to be with my grandmother. You know what I mean? He did his duty while he was with her, but from the stories I heard from her, from him, if she didn't go blind, he would have left. You know what I'm saying? But he was a noble man, and because she went blind, he ended up staying with her. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to assist her, and his kids had already been raised, and I guess continue raising them and raising us and giving her some assistance. So I learned nobility from my grandpa. I learned that a man is always supposed to have an answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my grandfather always had an answer to whatever problems was going on, man. Even if he didn't talk much. My grandfather wasn't a big talker, though. He was just a man of action, though. So I learned, you ain't really got to say much. Just get in there and do what you're supposed to do or what you say you're going to do. Definitely discipline. My grandfather was heavy on the discipline because he did not accept no foolishness. He was in the army, so he was like a drill sergeant. For me, my cousin Terrell, shout out to T-Dog, my cousin Damon, R.I.P., rest in peace. I love you, Damon. So yeah, because he had to raise not only me, but two other, his son's kids, because my uncle ended up getting into drugs real bad. And, his kids needed help. So my grandfather, he would take them in. My grandfather would take on people, take on, he tried to give everybody a fair shot and keep the family together. You know what I'm saying? He's from Oklahoma, Taft, Oklahoma. So that's his whole, he grew up with a lot of family, you know what I'm saying? And shoot, I didn't really experience that until he brought my cousins in and stuff like that, because I was the only kid. Like, I had a sister that would have made it, but her name was Naja Foreman, but she ended up dying, was a stillbirth. So I was the only kid for a long time of life.
So how did he feel about, like, did he know that what you were doing?
Maybe he did. I don't. You know what? To tell you the truth, I don't think he knew. I think I was slick enough because it was a different time. Just like how I don't know what my kid is up to because it's a different time. Like, you could portray that you ain't on this and tell me that you ain't on this. And because I'm not out there with you every day, I kind of just got to accept it face value. But he had caught me smoking one time in his garage, whooped my tail. I'm talking about nailed me to the cross, boy. Beat my little tail. But nah, I mean, I guess to him, because I didn't cross Grandpa because I knew Grandpa was not afraid to put hands on you. You know what I'm saying? Or even from what he showed me with his son, he wasn't afraid to pull out no gun and shoot you. He was like, look, I might not have brought you in this world, but I'll dang sure take you out. And that's one of the sayings I remember he saying. Also, I'm the boss of this here hot sauce and stuff like that. So he was a bigger dude, and you just didn't want to test Grandpa. He was always smiling, but when he got messed up, it was messed up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that he knew what I was doing because of the generational gap, but he did eventually find out what I was doing. I had me and my cousin that got into it, and he had told him like, yeah, you know, your grandson down there doing cocaine. And when I looked up at him, man, he just looked at me with this, it was like a at all but disappointed look, man. And it's like, dang, man. But shit, so he found out eventually, but he didn't know while stuff was going on. Because he always told me, like, make sure don't nothing come back to this house. You know what I mean? I don't want no trouble at this house. I know how to bring trouble here if that's what I want. And I don't bring no trouble here, so I don't want no trouble at this house. So I would make sure that whatever I do, fights, selling drugs, beefs, I handled it right there because you couldn't come back to the house.